Hey there, homeschool friends. This is Carrie with Any Day Blessings, and on this channel I share all things homeschool, be it curriculum reviews or flip-throughs, to planning the material, to storing the material and organizing it, to sharing how we do daily lessons, all those things, all things homeschool. And if you like that kind of content, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and catch my future videos and go back and check some of the old ones. And go ahead and like this video. This is going to be a mama chat style homeschool tips video, so please go ahead and hit the like button if you like seeing these style of videos. So I know that this year there's going to be a lot of newer homeschool mamas, and I know that there are some of you who have reached out to me about changing up your homeschool day a little bit to make things better next year than what happened this past year. And so I came up with 4 tips, 4 things that you could be doing over the summer now if you intend to school in the fall. Things that you could start to change and get as part of your new habit over the summer to make your homeschool days flow better and just be overall more enjoyable. So here are my 4 tips for what you should do this summer. Number 1 is you need to reorganize your home, reorganize your space, reorganize your furniture even to accommodate for the traffic jams of homeschool. I call them traffic jams because it just seemed to be places where things were getting caught up, or people were kind of rubbing each other the wrong way a little bit, and it just seemed like I just needed to change the environment a little bit. So let me give you a couple examples of the traffic jams that we encountered. Number 1, every time I went to do art with my kids or any kind of craft project, I would lose them. I would lose their focus completely, because where we do art and where I store all of the supplies are on different levels of our home. So I would go downstairs to gather all of the homeschool stuff that we needed for our crafting, and then I'd have to bring it back up and hope that my children were still sitting at the counter ready to go. And they weren't. They were scattered around the house. They were fighting with each other. Something wasn't right. And I had to spend, 10, 15 minutes just regathering the troops in order to do art. Same thing happened with history often, because I would keep some things for history and our read-alouds in different places. And so what I did over the summer is I cleaned out a cupboard nearby where we do our art, and I started putting the material near that counter. I started storing it there, and anytime we went to do a project, I only had to go 5 feet instead of, downstairs and in another room. That helped greatly. Another thing that helped out was rearranging our furniture so that we had better lighting and a better flow, bigger open space for us to spread out on the floor with our books and things like that. If you need to address things like lighting for reading time or for work time, if you need to move things so that your children can be closer to natural light of the windows, do that furniture rearranging and reconfiguring over the summer, and do a couple trial runs. See how it works out for you. Do some read alouds in that space and see how it feels. But take the time over the summer to address those traffic jams. If something like getting out the door to a co-op or to library time or something is just ridiculous, it's just crazy. We know it's hard for all of us, but if there's things you can address, like having backpacks packed and in a dedicated cubby in the closet, or moving the location of your shoes so they don't always get jumbled up in a big pile and creating havoc, do it over the summer. That's one tip that you can do to try and make your homeschool day flow better. Tip number 2 is to create good habits over the summer. If your children aren't in the good habit of waking up, getting breakfast, getting dressed, making their bed, all those good getting ready for the day habits, work on that over the summer. Take that time to practice doing that with nothing else to do, no other school subjects to do, just working on that habit, and that will pay off in dividends. It'll just be amazing, the difference that you see if your mornings start off just kind of on autopilot. You don't have to be like, go brush your teeth, go get dressed, go do this, go do that. It's just saving you some energy, and it's just allowing your kids to get a good start to the day. Work on those kind of habits over the summer. Some other examples of habits. Get in the habit of putting away your clothes. Get in the habit of them putting away their clothes. Get in the habit of having a good lunch routine. Maybe you want to start reading over the lunch hour so that you can get something like health or a history read aloud, or even just a literature read aloud done over the lunchtime when your kids are a captive audience, they're not going anywhere, they've got happy tummies, and they're listening to you. Maybe start practicing that over the summer. Say we're going to have some reading time, while you eat. In order to accommodate this, Mom, a lot of times what I've had to do is I've had to make my lunch a little bit earlier, and I'm kind of snacking on my lunch while I'm making their lunch. Okay, so I make my food first, and I kind of eat it while I'm making their lunch, so that, I'm not trying to eat while I'm reading to them. Now, there are some times when I don't get that done, and I do have to take a bite and take a little break from the reading. That's all right. But just work on that habit over the summertime of using your lunch hour to get some homeschool reading done. A couple other habits to work on over the summer. Listening. If you're beginning homeschool with a kindergarten student, or even a first or second grade student that has gone to school outside of the home and is now coming in the home, they need to really practice listening to Mommy. If you haven't been in the habit of doing a lot of family read alouds, that's okay. You have the summer to begin developing that habit of your child sitting and listening to you read for a solid 15 to 20 minutes. Start there. Start with 5 minutes a day if you haven't been doing this habit already, and just read and expect them to sit there and quietly listen. Don't fidget with something. I know a lot of people say that you can have your child color or build with blocks. That's all right if they do that some of the time, but I would encourage you to develop the habit of listening while not doing anything else, okay? Perhaps, you know your child best, and perhaps they're not ready for that habit yet. That's okay. But if your child is ready to sit, and you think you can expect them to sit and listen to you read with not doing anything else for 15 to 20 minutes, start practicing that over the summer. I do let my kids do other things while reading some lessons, but for some lessons I want them engaged and interacting with me, so I don't give them coloring, or I don't give them Lego or anything else to play with. It's just listening to Mommy. But we had to develop that habit over time, okay? So the summer is a good time to develop that habit. The last habit that you may not think of, but boy does it create distraction and interruption in your homeschool day. You need to work on the habits of tying shoes, buttoning pants, and zipping coats. Those things you can either teach your young ones to do if they haven't developed that skill yet, or if they're not quite ready to do those things. The summertime is a great time to train your older kids to do that for your younger kids. So help them learn to tie their shoes. Help them with zipping up their coat, so that when Mom is gathering things to go out the door, the kids are in the habit of kind of looking out for each other. And when big kids get their shoes on, they know it's now my job to make sure that little sister has her shoes on the right feet and has her shoes tied. Make sure that she has her coat on and that it's zipped up so she's nice and snug. Get those habits going over the summer. Now, I know coats zipped over the summer may not be practical to practice, but just get them in the habit of looking out for their little siblings when you're going out the door to go somewhere, so that that's one less thing you have to do in your day to get out the door. Or maybe if you can sit down and practice buttoning over the summer with your kindergarten and first grade student, if they're still having trouble buttoning and snapping, then you're not called away for those potty breaks to help with that. Maybe if they're not quite there yet, just get elastic bands, Mom. Don't wear snaps and things like that on your kiddos if they can't do that on their own, because the constant pulling away, if you're in the middle of a lesson and you finally have little Johnny there focused on math, and then, Mommy, I have to go potty and I can't do my pants, that kind of thing. So these kinds of things we work on over the summer. My son, one year, we worked on tying his shoes, so when it was time to go to swim class, when it was time to go to art class, he could just tie his shoes, and I could focus my energy on making sure we had everything ready to go for art, and focus on my then toddler who was totally needed my help. So just work on those kind of simple habits, you guys. That really will pay dividends if you do that kind of stuff. And the third thing I will suggest is to practice over the summer new recipes. Practice new things that you can make that are quick, simple, and that your family loves. Don't do trial runs of a recipe over the homeschool year, because it may not be as advertised. It may take a lot longer to do. It may not turn out as well, and you really want to have some good tried and true recipes for quick and easy suppers over the homeschool year. So take the summertime to try those out. Also, along the lines of cooking, take some time to do some freezer batch cooking. Then you can just pull meals out of the freezer, plop them in your crock pot, plop them in your oven, and you don't have to think about it. You just know that supper's taken care of. I know that you won't be able to do this for the entire homeschool year, but if you can do this for the first month or so of homeschool and just have dinner cared for in the freezer, man, what a blessing that would be, to allow you to get in a good routine, to allow you to get your bearings a little bit, get a good homeschool routine done, and not have to worry about cooking dinner. So do yourself that favor and do some batch cooking over the summer months. And the fourth and final thing that I will share with you in the way of a suggestion on how to prepare now in the summer for the homeschool year is to start teaching some new homeschools to your kids. Whether it be taking out the trash, doing the dishes, unloading the dishwasher, chopping vegetables, you know your child's skill level, the responsibility level, and what they can do. Start teaching some of those home skills over the summer when there's not a whole bunch of other stuff that you're teaching them and focusing on in the way of school subjects. Just work on those home skills so that when the homeschool year rolls around, that Johnny is really good at sorting laundry and he can do that job for you, and Sarah is really good at setting the table and she can help you out with that job, and really help your children start to see that this home runs together as a team. It's not just mommy doing everything, and that will pay off in ways you can't even imagine, or maybe you can imagine. Maybe your mama did that for you, and I know mine did. My mom was very domestically minded. She taught me everything I know about keeping the home, and so I'm able to do what I do now because of watching and learning from her. And you can now give that to your kids over the summertime, developing those good home skills so that you have a little bit of help when you're wearing the teacher hat as well as the mom hat. So I hope those things were helpful to you. Those are things that we have all done. I try to only share suggestions with you that I know work because we've done them, but it may not work in your home. These things may not, turn out to work as well in your home as they did in ours, and that's okay. Just keep trying. Just keep trying to look at your homeschool routine and see how you could use this summer to improve upon it. If you like this style of video, again, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel here so you can see more content like this. I look forward to hearing your tips for how to use the summer down in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, everyone.